Hello Golden State Warriors fans, we are here once again to bring you the latest news related to our team, and I would like to emphasize how committed we are to improving our performance to achieve great results. Before we dive into this intriguing news, I kindly request you to show your support by clicking the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, I invite you all to join us on an exciting journey. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
The Warriors' growing bench problem could be exactly what the Timberwolves need to exploit. Just 3 bench points on Sunday. Once again, the Golden State Warriors survived the Houston Rockets in a grueling playoff series. But it wasn't easy. It took all 7 games, capped off by a gritty road win at the Toyota Center. And now, the real challenge begins. With virtually no time to rest, the Warriors must fly straight to Minnesota for Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals on Tuesday night. The first 5 games of the series will be packed tightly, with just 1 rest day between each contest. That's a brutal pace for an aging Golden State roster, and depth or lack of it could become a critical issue. A familiar matchup, a whole new battle. The Warriors won the regular season series against Minnesota 3-1, but those games came before the Jimmy Butler trade transformed the Timberwolves roster. Butler, a 6-time All-Star and former face of the Wolves, is now an enemy in familiar territory, but this isn't the same Minnesota team he left in 2018. Today's Wolves are young, deep, and dangerous, fresh off a commanding 5-game series win over LeBron, Luka, and the Lakers. For the Warriors, it's going to take more than star power to get past them. Here's a look at 3 key storylines Golden State will have to navigate in this high-stakes matchup. 1. Can the Warriors slow down Ant? Anthony Edwards is no longer a rising star, he's here. The former no. 1 overall pick has taken a massive leap this season, evolving from a freak athlete who attacked the rim into one of the league's most complete offensive threats. Inspired by watching sharpshooters like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard, Edwards drained a league-leading 323 pointers this year, hitting 40% from beyond the arc. What was once a weakness has become a weapon. Earlier in the season, teams found success blitzing Edwards, forcing turnovers and rushing his decision-making. But that version of Ant is gone. In Minnesota's 4 wins over the Lakers, he averaged 7.7 assists per game, showing patience, vision, and leadership well beyond his years. The Warriors will need a focused defensive plan, and someone to step up physically and mentally, to have any chance of slowing him down. 2. Can Golden State survive playing small? One of the reasons Houston made the first-round series so tough was their ability to go big. With Steven Adams on the floor, the Rockets dominated the glass and pounded the Warriors inside. It wasn't until Game 7 that Golden State finally neutralized the size disadvantage and flipped the series in their favor. But now, they face an even bigger, more versatile front line. Minnesota punished the undersized Lakers by staying big, and it paid off. Rudy Gobert had 27 points and 24 rebounds in the series-clinching Game 5. The Timberwolves also bring Julius Randle and 6th Man of the Year contender Naz Reid off the bench, giving them a 3-headed monster in the paint. Add in Jaden McDaniels, an athletic 6 feet 9 inches wing who can guard 1 through 4, and this frontcourt becomes a serious challenge. Can the Warriors rebound well enough to stay in games? Will they be forced to abandon their small ball identity to deal with Minnesota's size? These questions could shape the outcome of the entire series. 3. The bench battle could decide everything. Here's the harsh truth. Golden State's bench scored just 3 points in Game 7. That's not sustainable. Not against a team like Minnesota, whose second unit is one of the best in the league. Naz Reid is a matchup nightmare, too strong for wings, too quick for most bigs. Dante DiVincenzo, a former Warrior, brings elite energy, defense, and outside shooting. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker adds another perimeter stopper who quietly shoots nearly 40% from deep. The Warriors must get production from their supporting cast. Can Jonathan Kuminga make an impact? What about rookie Quinton Post, who's struggled in his first taste of playoff intensity? Kevin Looney looked solid in his return in Game 7. Can he bring consistency now that the stakes are even higher? With such a tight turnaround and little room for error, Golden State's depth may end up being the deciding factor. The road ahead won't get easier. The Warriors escaped the Rockets and avoided a 3-1 collapse, but the Timberwolves are a different kind of threat. Faster, deeper, more physical, and playing with confidence. Golden State stars will need to shine, but the bench? The bench might just decide if this season ends with heartbreak, or one more miracle run. The Warriors' bench dilemma, a potential weakness against the Timberwolves. In their Game 7 victory over the Houston Rockets, the Golden State Warriors showcased their resilience, overcoming a 3-1 series deficit to advance to the Western Conference semifinals. However, their bench performance in that decisive game raised concerns. Scoring a mere 3 points from their reserves, the Warriors' depth was put to the test. As they prepare to face the Minnesota Timberwolves, this issue could become more pronounced. Warriors' bench performance in Game 7. In the Game 7 clincher against the Rockets, Buddy Hield led the Warriors with an impressive 33 points, including 9 three-pointers. Stephen Curry contributed 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, while Jimmy Butler added 20 points. However, the bench production was notably lacking, with only 3 points scored by reserve players. This lack of contribution from the second unit could be a significant factor in the upcoming series against Minnesota. SFGate. +2. Reuters. +2. TalkSport. +2. Timberwolves' depth and defensive strength. The Minnesota Timberwolves, on the other hand, have demonstrated a well-rounded team effort, particularly in their first-round sweep of the Los Angeles Lakers. Their bench, featuring players like Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, combined for 41 points in a single game, showcasing their scoring depth. Defensively, the Timberwolves are anchored by Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels, providing a formidable challenge for any opponent. Athlon Sports. San Francisco Chronicle. Strategic implications for the Warriors. As the Warriors face the Timberwolves in the upcoming series, their bench performance will be under scrutiny. The Timberwolves' depth and defensive capabilities could exploit any weaknesses in the Warriors' second unit. For Golden State to advance, players like Jonathan Kuminga, Quinton Post, and Kevin Looney will need to step up and contribute significantly off the bench. Looking ahead. The Warriors' upcoming games against the Timberwolves are scheduled as follows. Warriors fans reach bittersweet truth about Klay Thompson after Buddy Hield's Game 7 heroics. This wouldn't have happened if Klay was still here. Buddy Hield just delivered the performance of his life in the most important game of the season, Game 7 against the Houston Rockets, and in doing so, he stepped into a role once reserved for a Warriors legend. It was a moment that felt straight out of Klay Thompson's playbook, and it forced fans to face a difficult reality. This kind of game only happened because Klay is no longer on the team. The Warriors were backed into a corner, again. Game 7, on the road, facing a younger, faster, hungrier team. But that's nothing new for this core. Stephen Curry and the Warriors have made a habit of defying the odds, and Sunday night was no exception. Ime Udoka threw everything he had at Golden State. And Golden State had answers. They locked in defensively, protected the ball, crashed the boards, and when it mattered most, they had Buddy Hield. Hield, playing in just the 11th playoff game of his career, exploded. He torched the Rockets for 33 points on an unreal 12 of 15 shooting, including 9 of 11 from deep. That's not just good, that's historic. In fact, Hield is now the only player in NBA playoff history to shoot over 80% from 3 on more than 10 attempts. That kind of shooting? It crushed Houston's hopes, and lifted the Warriors to a place they might not have reached otherwise. And yet, for many Warriors fans, that performance stirred more than just celebration, it stirred nostalgia. Because if there's one thing Golden State fans know, it's what an elite shooting night looks like. They've watched it for years with Curry. And they watched it too with Klay Thompson, the man known for Game 6 heroics, a player whose legacy is carved into the very DNA of this dynasty. But Klay isn't here anymore. He was traded last summer in a cap-clearing deal. And now, watching Hield shine in the postseason, fans are left to ask, should that have been Klay? The answer is complex and bittersweet. Buddy had the game Klay no longer could. Klay Thompson believed, rightfully so, that he was part of the Warriors' core. He was the dynasty. The big shots, the lockdown defense, the cold-blooded comebacks. Golden State doesn't reach 6 NBA Finals without him. But the hard truth? Klay's game declined faster than Steph's. Even Draymond has managed to age more gracefully. Klay's injuries, his age, and his diminished athleticism have caught up. He's not the same two-way threat. He's not the same defender. He's not the same closer. None of that is his fault. But it is reality. If Klay had stayed, if he were still starting next to Steph, that Game 7 probably doesn't look the same. The Warriors likely don't have Jimmy Butler. They might not even make it past the first round. Because what Hield gave them, elite shooting, defense, and a team-first mindset, was exactly what this team needed, and what Klay could no longer fully offer. And let's be clear, Hield didn't just walk into Game 7 and catch fire. He earned that moment. Earlier in the series, his role was uncertain. He barely played in Games 1 and 2. He was in and out of the starting lineup. He struggled in Game 5. He fouled out and went scoreless in Game 6. But he never lost focus. Never lost confidence. When his number was called in Game 7, Buddy was locked in on both ends of the floor. He didn't just make shots. He played tough defense, hustled, made smart decisions, and did everything the team asked of him. Would Klay have accepted a role like that? Could he have come off the bench in silence, waited for his chance, and exploded when the spotlight found him? Maybe. But we all know, probably not. And that's why, as painful as it is, this version of the Warriors, the one still chasing titles in 2025, needed a player like Buddy Hield more than they needed the legend of Klay Thompson. Because without Klay moving on, there's no room for Buddy. There's no Jimmy Butler. No shot at a deeper playoff run. Klay will forever be one of the most important players in Warriors history. No one will ever replace what he meant to this franchise, to this fanbase, or to Steph Curry himself. But if the goal is to win now? Game 7 made it crystal clear, Buddy Hield was the player the Warriors needed. And he delivered, brilliantly. A new chapter, and a new reality for the Warriors. In the aftermath of Game 7, the buzz around Chase Center and across the NBA wasn't just about the win, it was about how it happened. Buddy Hield, long seen as a streaky shooter with limited playoff experience, had delivered the kind of performance that reshapes reputations. Analysts called it the game of his career. Fans flooded social media with highlights and praise, comparing his shot mechanics to vintage Klay, but with fresh legs and surprising grit on the defensive end. Even rival players and coaches admitted, this version of Hield? Dangerous. For the Warriors, though, the conversation turned deeper. What does this mean for their identity? For so long, the trio of Curry, Thompson, and Green was untouchable. Now with Klay gone, Butler in, and Hield emerging as a two-way contributor, Golden State is entering a new era, one where emotional ties must give way to performance and adaptability. Hield's Game 7 didn't just win a series. It validated a controversial off-season strategy. Trading a franchise icon like Klay Thompson was never going to be easy. It was gut-wrenching for the front office, emotional for the locker room, and confusing for fans. But now, with results in hand, that decision is beginning to make sense. Jimmy Butler, acquired in part because of the cap space created by moving Klay, brought the fire and toughness that the Warriors desperately needed in the postseason grind. His vocal leadership helped keep the team focused, especially during their mid-series struggles. He might not have filled the stat sheet in Game 7, but his fingerprints were all over that win, defensively, emotionally, and as a steadying force in crunch time. The emotional toll of letting go. Still, no one's pretending this is easy. Klay Thompson isn't just a former player. He's a symbol of one of the greatest basketball dynasties ever assembled. His Game 6 heroics, his 37-point quarter, his elite perimeter defense, all of it etched into Warriors lore. Letting go of that isn't just a roster move, it's an emotional severing. And it's clear from fan reactions, many are still processing it. The Game 7 win brought joy, yes, but also a tinge of sorrow. A reminder of what was, and what had to be left behind. Some fans have called it the beginning of the end for the old Warriors, while others see it as the evolution of a dynasty. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr addressed it after the game. We'll always love Klay. But we've got a different group now, and they're writing their own story. And Buddy Hield? He's trying to stay grounded. I know what Klay meant to this franchise, Hield said after the game. I'm just here to do my job. Steph trusts me. The guys trust me. I'm gonna keep showing up for them. That trust wasn't given, it was earned. And with every clutch shot, every defensive stand, and every unselfish play, Hield is proving he belongs not just on this team, but in its future plans. What comes next? With the Rockets behind them, the Warriors now move into the second round, and the challenges only get tougher. There's no guarantee this run ends in a championship, but there's a renewed belief that they can go deep. The rotation is solidifying. Steph remains an all-time great. Jimmy Butler is healthy and motivated. Draymond is still the emotional engine. And now Buddy Hield has added a new dynamic layer to their offense, one they couldn't have accessed a year ago. As for Klay Thompson, his next chapter remains unwritten. He's still beloved in the Bay. He always will be. But his departure cleared the path for something new, and in Game 7, that something new looked a lot like winning basketball. Warriors must make obvious adjustments before it's too late. The risk didn't pay off. Steve Kerr's gamble in Game 6 didn't yield the desired results. The Golden State Warriors head coach opted to go with Gary Payton II and Buddy Hield in a lineup that hadn't been used all season long. This decision to stray from the starting lineup that had served the Warriors well in recent months has been controversial. It was already a questionable move to send Moses Moody back to the bench, and replacing Brandon Podziemski with Payton, despite Podziemski scoring 26 points in the Game 4 win, only added fuel to the fire. Warriors need to return to the lineup that got them here. While Payton played an excellent fourth quarter in Game 3, helping Golden State close out the win, the veteran guard has struggled to make a meaningful impact throughout the series. His offensive limitations have been a major issue for the Warriors, who have had trouble scoring, and despite his defensive reputation, Payton hasn't been able to provide the necessary impact on that end either. Payton's plus-minus of -47 in 96 minutes is telling. That's 18 fewer points than any other player in the series. Kerr might still have faith in the experience Payton brings, but these numbers indicate that Payton simply shouldn't be starting at this stage of the playoffs. The same can be said for Buddy Hield. While he had solid performances in Games 3 and 4, his production predictably dropped off in Games 5 and 6, reflecting his overall season. In the last 2 games, Hield hit just 2 of 10 field goals and missed all 6 of his three-point attempts, finishing with a -25 in plus-minus. Kerr might argue that the inclusion of Hield and Payton was an attempt to better match up with Rockets center Alperen Sengun defensively. However, there comes a point where you need to trust the players who have gotten you this far, the ones who have proven themselves throughout the season. Trust the lineup that turned the season around. The lineup featuring Stephen Curry, Podziemski, Moody, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green was one of the best in the league during the final stretch of the season. It not only gave the Warriors a defensive boost but also helped propel them into a strong position, with the best defense in the NBA since February 7th. If the Warriors want to risk elimination in Game 7, they should at least fight with their best possible unit. The starting 5 of Podziemski and Moody, alongside the usual stars, posted a net rating of plus 16.4 over 211 minutes during the regular season, and they absolutely deserve the chance to set the tone for a potentially memorable Game 7 victory in Houston on Sunday. Making the right adjustments for success. At this stage in the playoffs, it's all about executing what works, not chasing risks that haven't panned out. The Warriors' best chance at winning now lies in trusting the lineup that's been consistently effective for them. Kerr and the Warriors' coaching staff have made bold decisions throughout the season, but Game 7 isn't the time to take unnecessary chances. It's time to trust in the players who have delivered and give them the opportunity to finish what they started. The pressure mounts. Warriors can't afford to waste this opportunity. As the Warriors gear up for a high-stakes Game 7, the pressure on Kerr and the rest of the coaching staff is mounting. This is the kind of game where every decision matters, and it's clear that Kerr will need to make the right choices to avoid a heartbreaking early exit. With the championship window still open but slowly closing, there's no room for mistakes, especially when the stakes are as high as they are in this series. Kerr has always been known for his ability to adapt and make timely adjustments, but this may be one of the biggest tests of his coaching career. The Warriors' core, led by Stephen Curry, is aging, and with each passing year, the team becomes more reliant on younger players like Podziemski and Moody to step up in big moments. The time to evolve the roster and make the right moves is now, before the window of opportunity closes for good. Podziemski's growth. A rising star in the making. Brandon Podziemski's continued growth throughout the season has been a silver lining for the Warriors, and his performance in the playoffs has solidified his place as a key piece of the future. The young guard has shown flashes of brilliance, whether it's in his scoring, his playmaking, or his ability to contribute on both ends of the floor. At just 22 years old, Podziemski is rapidly becoming a player the Warriors can rely on, and his development could be crucial in whether the team can compete for championships in the years to come. His impact during the regular season was significant, and the Warriors' defensive resurgence was largely thanks to his versatility and ability to fit seamlessly into Kerr's system. If Kerr can get Podziemski more involved and fully trust him in crunch time during Game 7, it could be the game-changer the Warriors need. It's clear that, moving forward, Podziemski could be a foundational piece for Golden State, and giving him the opportunity to shine in the biggest moments would not only boost his confidence but also the team's chances of advancing. The need for balance. Depend on the stars but give youth a chance. While the Warriors' superstar trio of Curry, Thompson, and Green is still at the heart of the team's success, they need more than just their established stars to make a deep playoff run. The team needs to strike the right balance between trusting the experience of their veterans and incorporating the energy and potential of their younger players. This balance has been a hallmark of the Warriors dynasty, and it's been one of the keys to their success over the years. However, it's crucial that the Warriors don't fall into the trap of relying too heavily on their stars while neglecting the young talent that's capable of contributing in a major way. In this playoff series, players like Podziemski and Moody have proven they are more than capable of stepping up when needed. They offer the Warriors not just energy and fresh legs, but also a sense of urgency and hunger to prove themselves on the big stage. A game-changing decision. Kerr's move could define the series. The way Kerr handles the lineup in Game 7 could define the rest of the series, and with the Warriors' backs against the wall, every move he makes will be scrutinized. Returning to the starting five that performed so well in the final stretch of the season, featuring Podziemski and Moody alongside Curry, Green, and Thompson, would be the logical choice. The Warriors have shown that they're at their best when they trust this group, and the numbers speak for themselves. But Kerr will also have to make some key in-game decisions: when to push the pace, when to rely on their defense, and how to navigate the adjustments made by the Rockets. The Warriors are playing for more than just a playoff victory. They're fighting to keep their championship window wide open, and there's no margin for error. The pressure is not just on the players, but on Kerr himself to prove that his leadership and experience can guide this team to victory when it matters most. Looking beyond Game 7, the future of the Warriors. Regardless of what happens in Game 7, the future of the Warriors is full of possibilities. With a core of all-time greats like Curry and Thompson, coupled with a growing young talent pool featuring players like Podziemski and Moody, the Warriors are in a strong position to continue competing for championships in the future. But for now, Game 7 will be the ultimate test of their resolve. Can they rise to the occasion and make the necessary adjustments to secure another deep playoff run, or will they fall short? For the Warriors, it's not just about making it through this series, it's about setting the stage for their future, and making sure they're still a force to be reckoned with when the dust settles. With a blend of veteran leadership and young talent, the Warriors are in a unique position to extend their dynasty. But the road to another championship will require a mix of bold decisions, strategic adjustments, and unwavering trust in their players, especially in Game 7. As Kerr prepares to make his next move, the clock is ticking, and the weight of the moment is palpable. It's do or die for the Warriors, and their next steps will determine if they continue their championship pursuit or fall short of the high expectations that have come to define their dynasty.